Okay, this is the biggest video I have ever made. In the past 3 weeks, 882 games were announced across 24 different showcases. This is the top 100 of the new announcements only, new games and new expansions. So if something was already revealed before, like Halo or Fable, it is not in here. And the ranking is not my opinion. I went through the data on how much each announcement actually landed with people, and let the numbers decide the order. It was a huge amount of work, so if you enjoy it, a like and a subscribe genuinely help, and drop your own favorite in the comments. As always, I don't waste your time, so let's go. Number 100. Hot Wheels Infinite Rush mixes arcade racing with platforming on those orange tracks. You're looping and flying through these impossible courses at full speed, which is pretty much the toy fantasy a lot of us had as kids. It's out September 24th. Coming in at number 99. Into the Wind is an open-world one where you're running deliveries with your sentient motorbike plane, a buddy called Irmas. You're driving, flying, making friends, scrapping with air pirates, and poking around a sunny set of islands at your own pace. Number 98. Star Trek Shadow Frontier is a survival horror game set in the Star Trek universe, which is not a pairing you see very often. You play as Ro Lauren, and instead of the usual fleet battles, it leans into the lonely, unsettling side of deep space. It turned up at IGN Live, and it's one to keep an eye on. At number 97, Lazy River is a co-op thing set at the galaxy's least safe water park, and the premise is exactly as silly as it sounds. Someone peed in the pool, it mixed with the space water, and now everyone's a zombie except you and your friends. So you build, you survive, and you laugh about it. It's coming in 2027. Number 96. Mr. Records is about George, an old dreamer who can sort of travel through music. After a life of standing still, he finally opens the little record shop he always wanted. It's a quiet, heartfelt one. Coming in at number 95, Wolong 2: Wings of Ember. Team Ninja, the Neo people, are back in their dark Three Kingdoms world for a proper sequel. You're using attacking and defending martial arts, parrying and countering through these huge mythological demons. It's quick and tough, and they're aiming for early 2027. Number 94. Star Trek Outposts Unknown is a story-led base builder. You're leading a crew out across new worlds, researching and building your outposts, while some cosmic threat starts pressing on a new ally. Exploring and building, which is a very Trek combination, and it's out this year. At number 93, Toypunk is a fast roguelite shooter where you're armed with a whole toy box of ridiculous weapons. You're blasting through stuffed toy enemies across these colorful zones, solo or co-op, chasing bigger builds each run. Number 92. Crossfire is a story-led tactical shooter built around two operators on opposite sides, pushed into an uneasy team-up against something neither can handle alone. It leans on tactical freedom and grounded combat, with an actual plot holding it together. Coming in at number 91. The Yooka-Laylee crew are jumping into kart racing, and this one's built around mastery and revenge runs. There's a solo campaign, online rivals, and you can make and share your own tracks. It's a proper, full kart racer, rather than a quick spin-off. Number 90. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World is a new one in the monster taming spin-off. You're befriending monsters from across Dragon Quest, raising them, fusing them into new ones, and putting your team up against others. It's out December 3rd. At number 89, Jujutsu Kaisen Rumble. SURVIVATON drops the anime into a Survivor-style battle royale. You're clearing out cursed spirits and getting stronger over a match while trying to outscore everyone else fighting around you. It's out this year. Number 88, Spyro: A Realm Beyond. The part that matters here is it's the first proper original Spyro in nearly 20 years, not a remaster. There's open dragon flight this time, where you can actually soar around, on top of the bright platforming people grew up with. It's coming spring 2027. Coming in at number 87, Cassette Beasts 2002 is a prequel to Cassette Beasts: The Monster Collector. You're recording, battling, and fusing more than 250 creatures, this time set in London in 2002. You can play it on your own or online. Number 86. Hack 95 is a card-based hacking game that drops you back into 1995. You're taking down a dodgy tech startup and a shady agency one play at a time, becoming a bit of a legend to the early internet crowd. It's stylish and very retro. At number 85, Sonic Pico Park is Sonic crossing over with Pico Park, that chaotic co-op puzzle series. It's couch co-op through and through, built around getting in each other's way and shouting about it. Good party material. Number 84, here's where it gets interesting. God of War. Laufey doesn't put you in Kratos' shoes. You play Faye, his wife, fighting through the afterlife of the gods. And here's the thing. This was the most watched trailer of the entire season by a mile. But the reaction split people so hard that it pulled itself down in the data. And that split is the only reason a new God of War is sitting all the way down at 81. Coming in at number 83, Neko Station is a cozy little idle game where you run a cat train. You're decorating the carriages to pull in different cats, then sitting back and watching the place fill up. Low effort, high comfort. Number 82. Apple Crumble has a great deadpan setup. It's your Grand's 84th birthday, and nobody is trying to kill her, so do stop suspecting your family, and don't mind the strange man in your bedroom. Something's clearly off, and it's out this year. At number 81, Pipes.exe is a first-person co-op horror for up to 4 based on exactly the thing you're thinking of. You're a low-level tester climbing through these chambers for a totally trustworthy tech company while it all goes wrong. It's good for a group scare. Number 80, Beastfolk Barber is a quiet, character-led one where you run a barbershop in a city of beastfolk. You talk to your customers, do their hair, and help them see something new in the mirror. There's a bit of heart to it. Coming in at number 79, Trine's back for a 6th one. Co-op for up to 4 with the usual trio, the wizard, the knight, and the thief. You're combining their powers to work through physics puzzles and a storybook world together. It's out September 17th. Number 78. Into the Dead, Crimson Heights is a zombie survival game made for VR and mixed reality, so the horde is coming at you in your own room. It's more about the up-close panic of holding them off than shooting from a safe distance. Pickpock is the studio behind it. At number 77, Dinkai, the Ocean Pillar, is an action roguelike built on the classic of Mountains and Seas, old Chinese myth. Gods, demons, and forgotten powers all run into each other as you fight through it, and that's where the monsters and the magic come from. Number 76. In Bad Magpie, you're a one-winged magpie with a missing flock and a real problem with a fallen star. So you steal shiny things, cause trouble, and poke your beak where it doesn't belong. They're aiming for early 2027. Coming in at number 75, Abiotic Factor, Entropic Break. This is a big expansion to Abiotic Factor, the co-op survival one set in a secret research lab, basically living out a half-lifestyle disaster with friends. This adds a new dimensional mess to dig your way out of later this year. Number 74. Carcass Clad comes from the people behind Mouthwashing, and instead of running from the horror, you crew a tank. 3 of you pilot this thing through a dead city, low on fuel, low on ammo, making rough calls. It's heavy and grim on purpose. At number 73, Hands Over is a 5-player horror party game where these harmless little games turn nasty, all bluffing and sabotaging your friends. The goal is just to stay at the table longer than anyone else. It's built for a loud group night. Number 72, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. Platinum Games, who make the over-the-top action stuff, are adapting The Last Ronin, the dark comic where the one surviving turtle goes after a brutal future New York. That studio, on that story, lines up pretty well. Coming in at number 71, Red Kiss has a great setting. You're running a team of vampire spies through Cold War Berlin. You're using their powers, earning trust, and quietly playing everyone around you to get the job done and make it through the night. Number 70, Atelier Caria, The Night Kingdom and the Guide of Memories. A new Atelier game, the Cozy Alchemy series, and your Caria, an alchemist with no memory of her past. They've deepened the crafting and the battles, and now the things you brew actually matter while you're out exploring, not just in a fight. It's coming early 2027. At number 69, Stellar Blade Blood Rain is a new one in the Stellar Blade world from Shift Up, carrying over that fast, precise combat the first one was known for in a new part of the story. Number 68, Nintendo Switch Sports Resort is the follow-up to Switch Sports, and the name's a nod to Wii Sports Resort. You get a new island with more sports and activities to play with people on Switch 2, motion controls and all. It's out October 22nd. Coming in at number 67, Pale Tide is a top-down zombie extraction game, and your partner in it is a dog. You're scavenging out in the infected zones, grabbing survivors, and hauling it all back to a bunker to upgrade and build the crew up. Push the run and bank what you got. Number 66. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee Remastered is a rebuilt version of the 2002 Kaiju Brawler, now running in Unreal Engine 5. You pick a giant monster and smash through cities and each other, which is about as straightforward as it sounds. It lands in early November. At number 65, Freeline is all about momentum. The whole point is reading the course and chaining one long, clean run together without breaking your flow. It's made for the people who chase that one perfect line. Number 64, One Piece Grand Gourmet builds the game around food, which actually suits the show. You're out with the Straw Hats hunting down rare ingredients, mixing the big fights with the series' whole thing about a good meal. It's out October 23rd. Coming in at number 63, Blasphemous 2: The Third Sin. This is a new expansion for Blasphemous 2, the hard, grim Spanish Metroidvania. You get more of the punishing combat, more grotesque bosses, and more of that art that looks like a nightmare somebody painted on a church wall. Number 62. Sated is a horror game where hunger is the mechanic. You're managing what you eat to keep going while something hunts you, and the whole thing sits in this heavy, pressing atmosphere. At number 61, there's a game just called PON that they showed at the PC Gaming Show, and right now it's running almost entirely on attitude and mystery. The look's sharp, they're telling you next to nothing, and that seems to be on purpose. It's one to keep an eye on. Number 60, Virtua Fighter Crossroads. Here's another one that got teased without a name a while back, the new Virtua Fighter project, and now it's real, and it's called Crossroads. Sega bringing the fighting series back properly, so if you've been waiting on Virtua Fighter, this is it, and it's coming in 2027. Coming in at number 59, Age of Empires 4 is getting the expansion a lot of people wanted, the Vikings. New civilizations to play, new campaigns built around raiding. That one's out this fall. Number 58. Company of Heroes, the World War II strategy series, is being pulled together into one definitive version with everything in it. For the people who care about that kind of strategy, it's a cornerstone getting properly looked after, and it's out this fall. At number 57. Tinker Nest is a cozy building game about a little creature setting up home, fiddling with gadgets and slowly getting the nest just right. It's gentle, handmade looking, and easy to sink into. Number 56. My Otter Friends is exactly what it says, and that's the charm. You're looking after a group of otters, decorating their place and keeping them happy. There's nothing more going on than that, which is kind of the point. Coming in at number 55. Book Nook is a small, crafty thing where you build these tiny, detailed worlds, the kind that sit on a shelf and light up between the books. It's hands-on and relaxing, and that's the whole loop. Number 54. Pico Niku 2 is the follow-up to that odd, happy little puzzle platformer about a one-eyed red blob causing trouble for a system that wants everyone in line. It's weird and funny, same as before, and it's coming in 2027. At number 53. Vampire the Masquerade Eternal Whispers. A new one in the World of Darkness, the vampire tabletop universe. You're working through the politics, the hidden factions, and the hunger of the vampire underworld, where every deal you make could turn on you. Number 52. Gundam Rogue Orbit is a fast mech action game in a new Gundam universe, and that last part matters. It's a clean way in. A cinematic story with no 50 years of anime to catch up on first. It's coming in 2027. Coming in at number 51, Wardens of Avalon is a co-op action game pulling from the King Arthur legends, where you and your team are the ones holding the realm together against whatever's coming for it. They're targeting 2027. Number 50, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This is a full remake of the Nintendo 64 one, the game half the industry will tell you is the best ever made, rebuilt for Switch 2. There's not much else to add, really. It's Ocarina of Time brought up to date, out this year. And number 49, Stronghold 4 heads back to the green, castle-building roots people actually liked. It's a prequel to the first one, with a story campaign, reworked sieges, and you designing and defending your own castle. That crowd's waited a long time for a proper one, and it's out this year. Number 48, Persona 6. This is the big one for the JRPG crowd. Atlas actually showed it. It's a new standalone story with the style and the turn-based combat the series is known for. It's heading to Xbox and PC, and past that first look, they're not saying much, but the reaction was something. Coming in at number 47, Oh My Doug is set inside a guy's body. When this middle-aged bloke decides to get fit, the tiny things living in him think it's the end of the world, and you play one of them, fighting your way through Doug while he tries to flush you out. Number 46, Until Dawn 2 goes back to the teen horror thing, this time following a group of ghost hunters. It's made by Firesprite, who did the recent remake, so they know the beats. If your idea of a good night is passing the pad around watching everyone make bad calls, this is built for it, and it's coming in 2027. At number 45, Xenoblade Genesis. Monolith are calling it a fresh start for the series, so new world, new cast, rather than picking up an old thread. For people deep in Xenoblade, that word Genesis is doing a lot of work. It's a Switch 2 exclusive, coming in 2027. Number 44, Dungeon Lurker is a retro action roguelike with a darker edge. You're fighting down into a cursed dungeon, dying and going again, and the further you get, the more it ties back into your own character's past. Coming in at number 43, Moonlight Pale has a sad little hook. A girl named Juliet follows the ghost of her dead cat into a nightmare, and she's fighting and solving her way through these familiar but wrong hallways to get the other girls stuck in there back out. Number 42, Marsupilami 2, Salsa Colombia. This one's based on the old European comic. It's a quick 2D platformer with a goofy idea, some melody sweeps through the jungle and makes every animal start dancing, and you're left cleaning up the mess. It's out September 3rd. At number 41, Under Canopies is about as low pressure as it gets. You're just wandering through quiet forests at your own pace, taking it in. No survival bar, no combat. If you like a game you can actually breathe in, that's the whole thing, and it's coming later this year. Number 40, Slayblade is basically Beyblade as a roguelite. You build your own spinning top out of 60-odd parts, mash their powers together, and skate around this Y2K city winning cash to upgrade. It's a relaxed one to dip into. Coming in at number 39, Vivarium is a life sim set in a summer that doesn't end. And the first thing you'll notice is that it's all hand-drawn, leaning on that older anime look. It's a slow, warm hangout sort of game, planned for 2027. Number 38, Isle Goblin flips the usual thing, you're the monsters. People have invaded your island and mostly taken it, and you're clawing it back with your monster mates and whatever you can scrape together. At number 37, Model Kit Studio. If everything else here is winding you up, this is the opposite. You're just building, posing, and painting model kits at your own pace, with a soft soundtrack and other people doing the same. It's there to slow your heart rate down, and it's coming in 2027. Number 36, Alien Isolation 2. Creative Assembly confirmed a sequel to Isolation, which for a lot of people is the scariest game they've played. This was just a teaser, so the real gameplay's still coming, but that slow cat and mouse with one alien you can't kill is on its way back. Coming in at number 35, Last Harbor is a zombie apocalypse, except you're based on a boat. You're drifting around an open-world set of islands in Washington State, and the other survivors are about as much of a problem as the dead ones. It's from Tiny Build, and they're aiming for 2027. Number 34. Okay, take a breath, because the title is the whole bit here. Brazilian drug dealer before 4. Demons from the portal to hell I opened are still in the favela, and now I have to save mamadas from Ronaldo. That's the actual name. Underneath it, there's a chaotic Brazilian action game, but let's be honest, the title did the work. It's out September 16th. At number 33. Anomalith is a survival shooter set in Japan, leaning hard into that liminal space feeling, empty hallways and buzzing lights. You step into a warped version of the world looking for a missing friend and deal with whatever's in there with you. It's out October 29th.
Number 32. Crazy Taxi is back. Axel's cab got stolen, so the whole loud, fare-grabbing thing goes worldwide this time. It's Sega digging up another one of their arcade names for a new crowd, and it's coming in 2027. Coming in at number 31, Thief, The Dark Project Remastered. Night Dive are redoing the 1998 Thief, the game that more or less started the stealth genre. You're Garrett, and the whole point is staying in the dark, lifting things off people, and avoiding a straight fight wherever you can. It's coming this winter. Number 30. Bancho the Chef is a spin-off from Dave the Diver, following Bancho, the gruff sushi chef, back when he was younger. It mixes the cooking side with a travel story, moving city to city around Asia, picking up the local food. Same studio, so it carries that same feel. At number 29, Impulse comes from the Splitgate studio, and it's all about movement. You're wall running, grappling, doing these hollow jumps, even hopping into mechs through tight vertical streets. So a fight is as much about out-moving someone as out-shooting them, and it's out on June 24th. Number 28, Jin Atlas. This is the one a lot of people went wild for. It got teased ages ago as Project Robot, and now it's got a name and an actual reveal. They're still keeping the details thin, so right now it's running on the look and the mystery of it, but the reaction was real. Coming in at number 27, The Wolf Among Us Remastered. This is a cleaned-up version of the Telltale detective story where you're Bigby, the sheriff of a town full of fairy tale characters hiding out in New York. Your choices stick, and it gets dark. If you never got to it, this is the version to play, and it's out this year. Number 26. Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance. This is the big expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds. Capcom aren't saying much yet, but anyone who's played one of these knows what an expansion this size usually means. New monsters, new gear, a harder tier on top. It's looking like 2027. At number 25, Clutch is an open-world driving game on the French Riviera, where the proper racing world and the underground street stuff bump into each other. The reason to pay attention is the team. It's a lot of the people who made Forza Horizon, and they're targeting 2027. Number 24. A Pulse is a top-down shooter that runs on pinball logic. Your shots bounce around the room, so it's as much about angles as aim, while you keep waves of robots off your mothership. It's quick to pick up and easy to lose an evening to. Coming in at number 23, Neighborhoods calls itself a city fixer rather than a city builder, and that's the whole pitch. Instead of endless sprawl, you're reshaping streets so people actually use them, gather, and get weirdly attached to one specific bench. It's the calmer, smaller version of the genre. Number 22. Magicians, The Devil's Deal, is a shooter where stage magic is the gimmick, and here, it's real. You're an illusionist who's been thrown into hell, and you claw your way back out by pulling off tricks and taking the powers off the magicians you beat. They're aiming for 2027. At number 21, Doom, The Dark Ages, Revelations. This is the expansion for this year's Doom, the medieval one, where you're more of a walking tank than a sprinter. More demons, more of those heavy weapons, and you're hardly waiting for it. It's out July 7th. Number 20. Final Fantasy VII Revelation is the third and last part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, the one it's all been building toward. You finally get the airship, the whole planet to roam, and the Sephiroth showdown.
If you've been with this trilogy, this is where it lands, sometime in 2027. Coming in at number 19, Bergfried is a medieval castle game that's half building, half siege defense. You lay out the towers and the walls, then watch how they hold up when an army actually turns up at the gate. It's headed to PC. Number 18, Hakes. A science team goes missing up in the frozen north, and whatever took them is still around. You're surviving out there, alone or with up to 3 others, pushing back a mist, building gear, and slowly piecing together what happened. They're aiming for 2027. At number 17, 1666, Amsterdam. There's a story behind this one. It's the project Patrice Désilets, the guy who created Assassin's Creed, has been trying to make for years, and it's finally happening. You play a witch-hunting things that wear human faces in old Amsterdam, looking into it by day and dealing with it at night. And it's out later this year. Number 16, Stuntman Hollywood. If you ever played the old Stuntman, this is that idea again. You're a movie stunt driver, nailing these big set-piece scenes over and over until the director's happy with the take. So it's precision driving dressed up as making a film. Coming in at number 15, Farsight has one of the better setups of the show. It starts at an optician, a normal eye test, and that test pulls you into the house that lives inside the image. And the line they keep repeating is that the figures in the picture are closer than they look. Number 14, Dioxide is a tactical shooter with Souls-like rules set in this rotting industrial world. The part that stuck with people is the death loop. You die, you get reprinted. And the question it keeps poking at is how much of you is left each time you come back. At number 13, Final Fantasy Resonance. It's a new pixel art Final Fantasy that builds on the old formula rather than remaking something. You've got a party tied together by fate, you summon these visions in battle, and it's pointed squarely at people who like the older turn-based ones. It's out October 22nd. Number 12. Saw Genesis is a 3 versus 1 horror game. So 3 of you are working together to get out of a trap maze while 1 player runs the traps against you. It's set a century before Jigsaw. If you've put hours into Dead by Daylight, you can see where this is aiming. Coming in at number 11, Rayman Legends Retold. Ubisoft are redoing Rayman Legends, which is the one a lot of people point to as the platformer they actually finished. New look, retold story, the musical levels, 4-player on the couch. Honestly, the headline is just that they're touching Rayman again, and it's back on October 1st. Number 10, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. North Korea invades, the world goes sideways. Campaign plus the multiplayer you already know. Whatever you make of yearly Call of Duty, this reveal clearly landed. People turned up for it in a big way. It's out October 23rd. At number 9, Among Us Story On Guard. Innersloth took Among Us and built an actual story game around it. You're the security guard, someone gets murdered, and you've got to clear your own name before the imposter works through the rest of the crew. Same setup you know, just with a plot wrapped around it. Number 8, Senua. Ninja Theory dropped the Hellblade name for this. It's just called Senua now. You're a Celtic warrior caught between life and death, working through a version of purgatory to reach people you've lost. If you played Hellblade, you know the kind of heavy, personal thing to expect, and it's heading to Xbox and PC in 2027. Coming in at number 7, Darktide, the Skitarii class. If you play Darktide, the co-op shooter set in the Warhammer 40,000 world, this drops a whole new class in to mess around with, the Mechanicus lot, with their own weapons and their own feel. And you barely have to wait. It goes live on June 23rd. Number 6, Guild Wars 3 is official. And that matters, because we just don't get many big new MMOs anymore. It leans on action combat and the skill collecting the series is known for, set in a region called Ore. The beta opens in 2027 on Steam and PlayStation 5. At number 5, Wild and Chill is one to put on when you want to switch your brain off. You're off the grid in the wild, foraging, hunting, building a cabin, on your own or with a friend and your dog. If that sounds like your kind of evening, it's that and nothing more stressful. Number 4, Finding Frankie 2 is one for the movement crowd. You're running, wall jumping, and grinding through this deadly game show course while a mascot called Frankie chases you down. The first one caught on with a younger audience, and this one's bigger and faster. Coming in at number 3, Mighty Cuphead Adventure. Studio MDHR, the Cuphead team, put out a new game in that same world, and they're being cagey about it. So far, it's that hand-drawn 30s look, and not a lot else. No platforms, no date. But for a lot of people, more Cuphead is enough to be excited.
Number 2, Attack on Titan 3. What's interesting here is that it covers the entire Attack on Titan story, start to finish. The whole thing in one game. The hook is the same as always, that gear where you're swinging through the air to cut the Titans down. And they've tightened it up a lot. It arrives July 1st. And our number 1, Resident Evil Veronica. So they're finally remaking Code Veronica, the one people have been asking about for years. You're Claire again, stuck on this prison island, and it's the slower, tense kind of Resident Evil, rather than the all-action ones. It's coming in 2027, and it'll be on pretty much everything. And that is the 100. 3 weeks, 24 showcases, 882 games. And this is what rose to the top. So tell me, what's your number 1? And which game did the data rank way too low? Drop it in the comments. I read all of them. If this was useful, you know what the buttons do. Thanks for watching.